So the recording has started. A couple of logistics for before you take your AP exam. So it says log on to the AP digital app before Tuesday at 12:30. This does bring into mind the secure browser. I'm not sure which one it is. Maybe try both and see if they ask you for like some terms of agreement before your AP exam. There's that window to get that stuff set up beginning on Saturday, May 15th. And you need to do so and approve your machine and agree to their terms of service and stuff before Monday, May 17th, because your AP exam is on Tuesday, May 18th. Definitely have some scratch paper handy. If you have a printer, maybe the quick reference guide and some other kinds of notes you would want next to you. The exam must be done on the computer that you'll be using for testing. So pick that machine accordingly if you happen to have multiple. You should know that on said AP exam, you've practiced it in the multiple choice section. You can't skip questions. You can't go back to questions. There's a break, and then you have your FRQs. We did some practice on that. There will be an email going out Sunday night, I think, where Jonathan Fong will give you instructions. And at this point, let me boost all of your confidence in the AP exam. So you might have done the 40 practice and then ended up with like 50%. And then you, being the high achieving Lowell student, was definitely very depressed after that moment because you're used to scoring so high. The AP test is curved, and it's curved very well. I was talking with Mr. Simon in our meeting the other day, and we're like 50% you're likely going to get a 3, maybe even a 4 by scoring 50% on like both sections, the multiple choice and FRQ. This year around, because of distance learning, keep in mind that there are teachers out there that have not covered all of the AP content, which may be the case in some of your teachers for other AP classes, not AP Computer Science A. They have not covered recursion, they have not covered 2D arrays even, all across the US. Mr. Simon and I are a part of mailing lists for people that are asking for help and conversing about APCSA, and we got people like scrambling right now on like, what about the FRQs? I have no idea what to give for them. How do I prepare my students? Yada, yada, yada. So you're in the same pool as these students that have not covered all that content, that have barely practiced any FRQs, right? You have teachers that are their first time teaching the APs without an excellent mentor like Mr. Simon guiding me along the way, and your scores are all treated the same in that regards. So curving, the AP graders, they grade all the exams and then they determine the cutoffs for 3s, 4s, 5s, 2s, and 1s. So you guys, being a part of APCSA with me and Mr. Simon, are pretty well prepared. We covered everything. We gave you FRQ practices, averages 50 and above. Like, it's good. Rest assured, you are above the curve. So as you go into the weekend studying and all that, know that you'll be fine. Right. If they were like me and like, why don't we just give everyone A's? Let's just give everyone 5s for this exam. Why not, right? Okay. Other questions related to AP exams and logistics? Ask them now before we start our quiz. All right. So when they do arise, how do we check the score for the multiple choice questions? When you do the practice, you should see some results at the very end, and they tell you which ones you got right or wrong. They don't tell you what you answered, nor what the correct answer is. But it should be at the end of the 40 multiple choice questions. Try clicking around. Okay, I'll post this thing yet again. Oh, search and sort questions. That's a good question. I don't remember seeing any on the practice, right? So you're likely going to see maybe like some in the multiple choice, or maybe they'll ask you a portion of like find this in the 2D array question, but chances are maybe not. but you know it. Review those sorts, at least watch those animations again to remind yourself on how those sorts work. So today's quizzes, which will begin very shortly, it's inspired by these multiple choice questions you've taken. Remember, this Friday you have the FRQs that are due. You have your reflections. If you haven't done these practice multiple choice stuff, get them in before Tuesday. And let's start. Here's the Quizziz link. We got 21 people that joined. I'm going to spam it into chat a couple more times. You'll have roughly 20 minutes on the clock, so we'll stop at 9:31. Block 6 ended a little bit early. They spent like 15-ish minutes on it. I imagine you all might be the same unless we're kind of waking up. So when I see like 80% of people have finished, then I'll start some review. Good luck. There you go. You can still join even though I've started it. I'll try to say 5 minutes ish at the end. If other questions do arise, private message me in chat and we can have a conversation there. Late. Working on a Quizziz right now. Last one. Reviewing multiple choice content. Read the questions carefully. Come on, zoom in. Alright, so this question asks you which of the following prints out 0, 10, and 20. Try the different inputs for num1 and num2. You try them out, you notice that the first 4 are like always short. It matters that it's strictly less than num1 because that's the stopping point for your loop. If it grows by 1, you should at least visit 0 through 20 inclusively. So the answer here was E because it goes up to 25. This one stops just before 20, option D, so no good there. And the if statement saying if you're even and a multiple of whatever that num2 is, then you print it to the screen. Next question, number 2. This one reviews some Boolean logic. So with this one, you may want to remember like the AND can be distributed. So that's De Morgan's law. The opposite of A is not A. The opposite of OR is AND. So as you, and that will save you some time for multiple choice questions, remembering that fact that you can distribute the ANDs to flip the signs. So here we get not A, these are AND signs, and not E, and then or C. And that should match up with one of the options, which it does, option C right here. Worst case, you could spend more time on these kinds of questions, draw out a truth table, as I think a lot of you learned in geometry class, I hope, and answer them and see which one's final columns end up being the same. Number 3, I think is also orange. Okay, yes it is. Number 3, this comment, or this one asks you about, oh shoot, sorry, forward. Went back too much. Dang it. Sounds have started. My apologies. Okay, back to number 3. I'm going to zoom in and try not to go all the way back. My computer. This one reviews various kinds of loops, and the answer here ended up just being 1 and 2 in multiplying, so it contains a square of its original value. 3 emphasizes the point that for each loops can't do any saving. It only can read, it can't write, it can't override, it can't change elements in the loop, in the array that you're working with or whatever. So that's why 2 doesn't work. The other options 1 and 2 do. 3 using the for each loop doesn't. You can't store things using for each. Okay, number 4 we did okay on. Number 5 I think was problematic. This one involved recursion. This one on the left has recursion in it. This one on the right doesn't. These two end up being the same. The original question had them be a little bit different because total started off at the wrong thing. It like added 5 starting at 1 or something like that based on the input. We did a good amount of recursion, and you can review previous videos on how to walk yourself through and evaluate recursion by hand. This one we did okay on. This one down here gave us a lot of trouble. And this one kind of got me at first too because I didn't read the options carefully enough. So the answer here was A. The code segment causes index out of bounds exception for all lists because of an incorrect Boolean expression. And here's the kicker. In the for loop. So this middle part is the Boolean expression for a for loop. That asks when you start, the Boolean expression asks, do I keep going in my for loop? And this one includes the size, that number. So if you have the list of size 5, you access index 5, which doesn't exist because you start counting as 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is the last index, but you're going up to 5. You always get an array out of bound exception. When I saw a Boolean expression, my brain kind of stopped right there, and I immediately jumped to the if statement. That is not correct. This is the Boolean expression in the for loop, which is this part, I less than equal my list.size, which may have thrown some of you off to pick something else. I was staring at the mod 2 equals 0. Okay, this question, another example of Boolean logic, another shortcut you can take when you see all ors that are here, and you see A and not A, actually formally A or not A, one of those has got to be true. And in ORs, you just need one of the options to be true. So the value here is always going to be true because you have A or not A. Either one, one's false, the other's true, you got it. The overall expression is true. It might be worth reviewing some of those Boolean expressions so that you get those easy points. Last question, last minute of class. I have this one that involves printing out numbers. This question 9. Okay. So as I look in, which of the best results describes the results from this little code segment? It's a bunch of if statements. We see that num is even, otherwise num is odd. A positive number that is even prints out B. Positive number that is odd prints out A. And that matches option E. Yep, otherwise nothing is printed. E is the final answer here. It's definitely not a negative number from the first if statement. You can eliminate A and B. Then you're thinking about C and D and what it means to mod things. Some people forgot how mod works. It's the remainder function. 9:35, that's it for today's class. We will have class Tuesday, block 6, as a last-minute panic session to take last-minute questions, to give you a pep talk before going into your AP exam at 1. You're welcome to show up, check in, then sign out. But otherwise, I'll be here. Okay, block 6, next Tuesday. See you guys later.